This obviously wouldn't have happened without a lot of help from the members of the Latin American Studies Department and the Romance Languages Department, especially Professor Oliveira Williams, Colleen Hoover and Harriet Baldwin, who helped me get everything ready, and Daniel Borzutsky, who helped me translate with Raul, and Raul, who was very patient while we set up all the arrangements to bring this very great man here. And finally, our many sponsors. I will rattle them off quickly because I know we all want to hear the readers read. They're the Kellogg Institute, who made Raul Zurita their very distinguished visiting lecturer. They are obviously the creative writing program, the English department, the Romance Language Department, the Institute for Latino Studies, Letras Latinas programs, and the Institute for Scholarship in the Liberal Arts. All these groups contributed to make this possible today. And finally, I just want to say, I was joking at the beginning about how this is a great event for poetry at Notre Dame, but it's not only poetry that matters today. Could that be true? I don't know. What's important is that we're all here together, and we're coming to this event from many different directions. Some of us are writers, some of us are lovers of literature, some of us are in Spanish language classes and can get extra credit for being here. Some of us are very, very fluent not only in Spanish, but in Spanish language literature or in the political history of Latin America. For all these reasons, it's exciting to come together and to find ourselves in the same room and part of a community built around art, translation, compassion, language, and real curiosity about the world. And I think translation itself brings that out in people. I think writing brings it out in people. The humanities brings that out in people. And I guess a great university brings that out in people. So I'm so glad we're here all tonight to celebrate Raul Zurita, to learn from Raul Zurita, and to learn from each other. So here's another round of applause, and then the real introduction.
Good afternoon, and big thank you to Professor McSweeney, to Joyelle, for publishing the bilingual edition of Canto por a su amor desaparecido, a song for his disappeared love, and for being so enthusiastic and so generous. So it gives me great pleasure to introduce the Kellogg Distinguished Lecturer, Chilean laureate, poet Raul Zurita. Zurita was born in Santiago, Chile on January 10, 1950. He studied civil engineering at the Universidad Técnica Federico Santa Maria, and he started writing and publishing poetry in the years of repression, silence, and unprecedented violence of Augusto Pinochet's military dictatorship, which in 1973, with the U.S. support, ousted Salvador Allende's democratically elected government. During the dictatorship that lasted from 1973 to 1990, Zurita published a trilogy of books, Purgatory, Anti-Paradise, and The New Life. Wrote poems in the sky above New York City, bulldozed poems in the Chilean desert, and helped to form the art collective, Colectivo de Acciones de Arte, CADA, that used performance as an act of political resistance. Of his early poetry, C.D. Wright has written, and I quote, "Under the eyes of church and dictatorship, he began to write and publish his poetry, juxtaposing secular and sacred, ruled and unruled, with a mysterious admixture of logic and logos, Christian symbols, brain scans, graphics, and medical report. Zurita expanded the formal repertoire of his language of poetic materials, pushing back against the ugly vapidity of rule by force," end of quote. In post-dictatorship, Zurita's poetry sought to register the violence and atrocities committed against the Chilean people and the corruption of the Spanish language. Zurita has received numerous and prestigious national and international literary awards, among them the Chilean National Prize for Literature in 2000, the José Lezama Lima Award, Casa de las Américas, Cuba, in 2006, the Pericole de Oro, Italy, 1994, and the Pablo Neruda Award, Chile, 1989. He has received important scholarships, such as a prestigious grant from the Guggenheim Foundation, and has held poetry readings at numerous American universities, including Harvard, Yale, Stanford, and Berkeley, and now Notre Dame. His books in English translation include Anti-Paradise, translated by Jack Schmidt, Purgatory, translated by Anna Dini, Inri, translated by William Rowe, and now Song for His Disappeared Love. He lives in Santiago, Chile, where he's professor of creative writing in the College of Arts and Communications at the Universidad Diego Portales. Let's give a warm welcome to Raul Zurita, who will read from his recently revised Canto a su amor desaparecido, translated by Daniel Borzutsky, A Song for His Disappeared Love, and published by our own Action Books. And now let me introduce also his very generous and great translator, Daniel Borzutsky. He grew up in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and he's the author of the short story collections Arbitrary Tales, 2005, of the chapbook, right? Of poetry, Failure in the Imagination, 2007, and the book of poems, The Ecstasies of Capitulation, 2007. Borzutsky translated numerous works by Chilean authors, including Taco 2008 by Jaime Luis Buenun, and the fiction by Juan Emas, published in a special number of the Review of Contemporary Fiction in 2007. Borzutsky has taught in the School of the Art Institute of Chicago, Cotton University in Istanbul, and the Wilbur Wright College of the City Colleges of Chicago. Please help me to give a really warm welcome to both of our guests.
Good afternoon. We have many people to thank, first of all, for making this happen. First and foremost, the crew at Action Books, Joyelle, McSweeney, Johannes Goranson, Kim Koga. All of you have been amazing, not just for making this book happen, but for your contributions to literature in general, and for your enthusiasm, and for having us all here. So thank you, and then thanks to everybody else here for coming. I'm just going to say a few words to introduce the book, and then Raul and I are going to read together. So, Canto a su amor desaparecido, or Song for His Disappeared Love, was originally published in Chile in 1985. This was towards the latter part of the Pinochet dictatorship. It is a book-length poem, and as we read, we're going to flip around and read a little bit from the beginning, a little bit from the middle, and a little bit from the end. I think we will just jump right in.
Ahora Zurita me largó, ya que de puro verso y desgarro te pudiste entrar aquí en nuestras pesadillas. Tú puedes decirme dónde está mi hijo.
Now, Zurita, he said, now that you got in here, into our nightmares through pure verse and guts, can you tell me where my son is?
A la paisa, a las madres de la Plaza de Mayo, a la agrupación de los familiares de los que no aparecen, a todos los tortura, palomos del amor, países chilenos y asesinos.
To the brothers and sisters, to the mothers of the Plaza de Mayo, to the Association of Family Members of the Disappeared, to all of us, we are tortured, pigeons of love, Chilean countries, and murderers.
Canté de amor. Con la cara toda bañada canté de amor y los muchachos me sonrieron. más fuerte canté, la pasión puse, el sueño, la lágrima. Canté la canción de los viejos galpones de concreto, unos sobre otros, decenas de nichos los llenaban. En cada uno hay un país, son como niños, están muertos, todos yacen allí, países negros, África y Sudacas. Yo les canté así de amor la pena a los países. Miles de cruces llenaban hasta el fin el campo. Canté a su enamorada, canté así, canté el amor. Fue el tormento, los golpes, y en pedazos nos rompimos. Yo alcancé a oírte, pero la luz se iba. Te busqué entre los destrozados. Hablé contigo. Tus restos me miraron y yo te abracé. Todo acabó. No queda nada. Pero muerta te amo y nos amamos, aunque esto nadie pueda entenderlo. Sí, sí, miles de cruces llenaban hasta el fin el campo. Llegué desde los sitios más lejanos, con toneladas de cerveza dentro y ganas de desaguar. Así llegué a los viejos galpones de concreto. De cerca eran cuarteles abovedados, con sus vidrios rotos, y olor a pichí, semen, sangre y moco hedían. Vi gente desgreñada, hombres picoteados de viruela y miles de cruces en la nevera, o sí, moviendo las piernas. A todos esos podridos tíos invoqué. Todo se había borrado, menos los dos malditos galpones. Rey un perverso, de la cintura quiso tomarme, pero Aymara el número de mi guardián puse sobre el pasto y huyó. Después me vendaron la Virgen, vi a la Virgen, vi a Jesús, vi a mi madre despellejándome a golpes. En la oscuridad te busqué, pero nada pueden ver los chicos lindos bajo la venda de los ojos. Yo vi a la Virgen, vi a Satán y al señor K. Todo estaba seco frente a los nichos de concreto. El teniente dijo, vamos, pero yo busco y lloré por mi muchacho. Hay amor. Maldición, dijo el teniente. Vamos a colorear un poco. Murió mi chica, murió mi chico. Desaparecieron todos, desiertos de amor.
I sang of love. With my face soaked, I sang of love, and the boys made me smile. I sang louder, with passion and dreams and tears. I sang the song of the old concrete sheds. It was filled with hundreds of niches, one over the other. There is a country in each one. They're like boys. They're dead. Black countries, African and South American countries, they all lie there. With love I sang pain to the countries. Thousands of crosses spread across the field. His beloved sings with her entire being. She sings love. It was the torture, the blows that broke us into pieces. I was able to hear you, but the light was fading. I looked for you amid the ruins. I spoke to you. Your remains looked at me and I embraced you. Everything ends. Nothing remains, but dead I love you, and we love each other even if no one understands this. Yes, yes, thousands of crosses filled the field. I arrived from far away with tons of beer in me and the urge to piss. That's how I arrived at the concrete sheds. From close up, they were vaulted barracks with broken windows, and they stunk like piss, semen, blood, and snot. I saw mangled people, men pecked with smallpox and thousands of crosses in the refrigerator. Oh yes, oh yes. I moved my legs and called all those putrid dudes. Everything had been erased except those two damn sheds. A wicked prince tried to grab me from the waist, but I called up his number, put it on the grass, and fled. Then they blindfolded me. I saw the Virgin. I saw Jesus. I saw my mother skinning me with blows. I looked for you in the darkness, but the little beauties could see nothing beneath the bandage on your eyes. I saw the Virgin. I saw Satan and Mr. K. Everything was dry in front of the concrete niches. The lieutenant said, "Let's go." But I searched and cried for my boy. Oh, love. "Damn it," said the lieutenant, "we're going to bleed a bit." My girl died. My boy died. They all disappeared. Deserts of love.
Hay amor. Quebrados caímos y en la caída lloré mirándote. Fue golpe tras golpe, pero los últimos ya no eran necesarios. Apenas un poco nos arrastramos entre los cuerpos caídos